Everybody needs a little chocolate, right?
Hi, my name is Charlotte. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I bring tips and tricks to teachers and busy working professionals for better work-family balance. And I am here today with my Friday teacher tip. And today we're going to talk about how to teach students to respect others. I teach in middle school, and this is a big issue for our age level, but I think more and more with our children today, it's a hot topic that we definitely need to consider. So without further ado, I'm going to give you 5 quick tips for teaching respect to your students. Tip number 1, you have to explicitly teach what you expect. Many students come from varying backgrounds. They may or may not know what respect looks like and sounds like between people. What might be acceptable in their home might not be acceptable in your school environment. And even students who are some of our top students don't necessarily understand the difference between a formal environment and a more relaxed home environment, that there can be different expectations. So you always have to start off by teaching exactly what you expect. We really can't hold students accountable for anything unless we're sure that they know exactly what respect looks like and sounds like. Have you ever had a situation where you said to a student, "That's disrespect," and they just looked at you confused? When that kind of thing is happening in your class, that probably there's a teachable moment that needs to happen. Take time to stop and, go over whatever it is. Or if the student is not in the right frame of mind to receive correction right then, make a mental note and come back to it later when the student is feeling a little bit less volatile, so that you can talk through what respect looks like and sounds like in that situation. When things don't go as planned, you can always use that as a way to show students, okay, let's try again. What if I said this to you and you said back? And then you just share with them what you would have liked them to say. Or you could say, next time, think about phrasing it this way. A lot of times the way that students speak, the tone that they use, the facial expressions that they're using, all those things are conveying whether they're showing respect or whether they're showing disrespect. Students need to learn how to be assertive. We don't want students to not share with us the things that are concerning them or bothering them, because that's not going to help with our relationships. However, they need to know, what does assertive communication look like? What does it look like when I disagree with someone who's in authority over me? Or what does it look like when I disagree with someone who is, on the same level as me, another friend that I go to school with? What does respect look like in those situations? How can you disagree in a respectful manner? All of those things are important lessons that you need to directly teach to your students. Start soon, start at the beginning of the year, and don't let up whenever something crops up that you're not expecting. Take the time to go through what respect looks like and sounds like so that students will know exactly what you want. Number 2, make sure you are modeling respect in your interactions with your colleagues, in your interactions with the students. Sometimes students can really push your buttons, especially if you're working with middle school students. You know that they sometimes seem to find entertainment in getting us upset, or if they're in just the right mood, they just want to see how far they can push it. So make sure that if you need to take a breath, if you need to count to 10, if you need to walk to the other side of the room for a little bit and disengage. One of the things that I've found when modeling respect to students is that if I'm starting to feel like I'm getting dysregulated emotionally, then I need to be that person that just takes the time to disengage. I need to slow everything way down. The more frustrated you sense yourself becoming with a student or with your whole class, if it happens to be a lot of your students at once, then that's your signal that you need to just slow everything down. The more you can slow your reaction time down, the more you can think about what you're doing and saying, so that you're sure that no matter what the student is doing or how dysregulated they might be, that you're modeling respect. And then, like we said before, come back, talk about it when the student's not so upset about what you would like to see in the future. Most students, not 100% of them, but most students will respond well after they had time to calm down and think about it. If you come back to them and your tone is respectful and you're showing that you care and that you just want to get along better. Number 3, catch students being good. In my class, I have discussed in other videos how I give out tickets. I know not everyone is a fan of extrinsic rewards. However, when you are dealing with middle school students who cannot think ahead very well, having something that's like an immediate positive, even if it's just praise, you know what your students respond to. My students really respond to my ticket system. And as the year goes on, it costs more and more to get the same things from my store. So I am gradually weaning students off of that being their only reason to behave. And I just find that that little bit of way for me to draw attention to positive behavior is a great motivator for students to do the right thing. And it just keeps it in the back of their mind all the time. What do I need to be doing so that I can earn my reward? But you know what works for you in your own classroom? Just make sure that you're drawing attention to the positive behavior whenever you see it. Any chance you get, make a big deal about it, drum it up. Shout it to the world. And in your school, you might even consider offering some sort of incentive for students who are showing respect. That brings me to number 4. Hold a respect raffle. I got this idea off of an Education World article. And I will link that down below. But a respect raffle basically is that every time students catch other students showing respect, they write down that student's name and put it into a drawing, and then you would draw it every so often, a name or so many names out, and those students would get some sort of recognition, however you want to do it. So in my class, I would just use, the raffle to be a way to earn extra prizes from my store or extra tickets that they could use for my store later on. But in your case, you would have to figure out what is it that your students would work for that would be a good way that they could catch each other being good. When students have to start thinking and evaluating other people's behavior and noticing when their friends are doing respectful things, it really starts a culture of respect in your classroom. And this is something that you can extend to your entire school building if you get together with your colleagues and decide how you want to reinforce that good behavior. Try a respect raffle and see how it works for you. The last thing is, no matter what happens, stay calm, stay clear, and stay consistent with your students. Respect is not something that is learned overnight. Respect is something that students take a lifetime to really get better and better at. So as they're in your classroom, you hope that throughout the year, they're going to get better at meeting the guidelines for your classroom culture. But this is really something that you have to work together on all through your grades as students progress through your school building, so that there's a common language, a common way of handling students when they get dysregulated and are being disrespectful, and that you're just consistent. Be consistent, because a lot of times our students who come to us with problems with not knowing how to show respect, they are experiencing very inconsistent home lives or inconsistency in some other area of their lives that causes them to behave that way. Sometimes school is the one place where students learn their character education. Even though that's not our primary job, it's going to make a difference with students, because when they get out of school, they might know everything, but if they don't know how to behave, they're not going to be able to use any of their knowledge for good, and they're not going to be a contributing member of society. So character education is an important part of what we do every day. All of us need to be responsible for it. All of us need to hold students to firm and fair and clear expectations and be consistent, so that students can learn how they can be a positive member of society. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this Teacher Tip Friday. As always, don't forget to work hard, be kind, and amazing things will happen. Goodbye.